I'd like to call our city events coordinator, Chick Cody, up to lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Cynthia. Lord, we're thankful for your blessings. We're thankful for all your goodness. We're thankful that you bless us so that we may bless others. We ask that you bless our mayor and our council, bless our city, Lord, and all the inhabitants. God, we also pray that you'd keep an eye and a good healing prospect going, Lord, for COVID-19. Help us to find the medicines that we need to help us, oh Lord, overcome this. In Christ's name we pray and ask. Amen.
Thank you, Chick, for getting our event started. I would now like to take a few minutes and introduce our sponsors to this event, the Singing River Health System. During this time with COVID-19, they've been a vital part of everything we do in this community. So I'd like to bring up Tiffany Murdoch, the Executive Director of Surgical Operations for the Singing River Health System, to give us an update. Tiffany, come on.
Thank you so much. We're so happy to be here and to be able to sponsor this incredible event. There's so much happening at Singing River Health System right now. Our new partnerships with Garden Park and Ochsner to bring new technology to this community to continue our mission of saving lives. And we are super excited to be talking about some things happening at Ocean Springs Hospital. We're building a new cath lab. We're building 3 new endoscopy suites. For the Singing River Health System, we're also going to be getting our Center of Excellence for Robotics. So all of the technology that we're partnering with all of these individuals is really going to help with that Center of Excellence for Robotics, as well as our Leapfrog A. You know, we're between us and Garden Park, we are the 3 A's on the coast, which is incredible for the quality and care that we give for our community. And that's what we do every day. And I think the message I want to send to you guys today is that we are here for you. We are safe. If you need us, please come and see us. We had 6 discharges yesterday. We are continuing to care for the COVID patients, but we are doing it safely. We're doing it with clean, disinfecting. So if you need us in this health system, we are here for the community. And thank you so much. And again, we're so excited to be the sponsor for this breakfast.
Thank you, Tiffany, and again, thank you to the Singing River Health System for all that they do. They are our real heroes here locally. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Mayor Shea Dobson to give you guys an update of what's going on in the community, and he'll give you an update on COVID-related items as well. Without further ado, Mayor, welcome up.
Thank you, Cynthia. Good morning, everybody. I want to thank the Chamber and Singing River Health System for putting this event on. This is an important event that the Chamber does. We do it quarterly. We do it, just to kind of talk to the community and let everybody know exactly what's going on here in Ocean Springs, what they can expect, different projects we have going on. So this is just is a really good, just important program. Normally we would do this live in front of an audience at a local restaurant, a local business. We would have the sponsors come in and have everybody there, and I would just take questions. But obviously with COVID, we're having to do things a little bit different. So that's why we're coming to you live. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the COVID-related restrictions that have gone on and throughout the state. I know it's been very confusing. Trust me, it's confusing to everybody. It's confusing to us. There's a lot of different stuff, a lot of different moving parts coming down. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the specifics of that. Then I'm going to go into some projects and some good stuff we've been working on. I'm going to go into some good budget numbers. Folks, our budget is looking better than it has looked in probably at least 2 decades. So we're doing right. We got a lot of good stuff going. We have a lot of good momentum. And then I'm going to bring up the fire chief, who's going to talk a little bit about a new training facility we have coming to Ocean Springs that we're really excited. It's really going to help our fire and police. Both our fire and police will be able to train on it, and it will help give hopefully a little bit of a rebate and a little bit of a discount on your fire insurance. So that's really exciting. And then after we hear from the fire chief, then I'm going to take a little bit of questions. So if you have questions, be thinking about them as I'm talking. and go ahead and put them in the comments, and then Cynthia will read them to me very soon, or very shortly after that. All right, so as far as COVID goes, remember social distancing, 6 feet away. Keep everybody 6 feet away. Obviously, with restaurants and you have a party coming in, they could sit at the table. But generally, the groups of people that come in need to be separated. Use proper hand washing techniques, at least 20 seconds. Send sick employees or those with symptoms home. You don't want to, if someone is showing symptoms of this, if they have a fever, go ahead and send them home. You don't want to get them around everybody else and get the entire establishment sick. Wash hands before handling food, after coughing, sneezing, blowing nose, and using the bathroom. Maintain good personal hygiene. Folks, that's what we always need to do. This is, I think COVID will kind of hopefully make some of us realize that we need to take better care of ourselves in general. I think that, the flu and a lot of different diseases can be lessened with just good personal hygiene. I think COVID is really forcing us to get serious about a lot of this stuff. So please get in the habit of just good personal hygiene, washing your hands, that kind of thing. Frequently clean high contact surfaces such as counters, door handles, credit card machines, table and bar tops, etc. Screen employees and volunteers daily for COVID. I just mentioned that. Restaurant parties must be separated a minimum of 6 feet apart. Retail businesses must make efforts to maintain 6 feet of separation, and masks are to be worn inside and outside event gatherings. So you can have at inside gatherings, you can have 10 people. Outside, you can have 20. I've also been asked about the capacity. So it is 50%. I know there's some restaurants who have asked me specifically about whether they can have full capacity or not. It is still at 50%. So that's kind of just a big, broad breakdown of COVID restrictions. Trust me, it gets much more specific. We have a cheat sheet on our Facebook. If you go to that, a little bit more details. Also, we link straight to the governor's order. So if you have more in-depth questions, you can go there. And I urge you to call the governor's office with more specific questions. You can also call our office. We can definitely help you out and try to find an answer to your question. All right, on to some projects and some good stuff we have going on. I want to talk about East Beach sidewalk. There's going to be a sidewalk going on East Beach about 6 feet attached to the water side of the existing seawall between Halstead and Holcomb Boulevard. That is really a very important project. I think when you drive down East Beach, there's constantly pedestrians, running, biking, and I believe what we're going to do is not really create something new down there. We're going to make what's happening down there just safer. So that's what that's about, is just trying to create a better atmosphere for everybody, a better, safer atmosphere for the pedestrians and the drivers. We have a wayfinding study. This wayfinding study will improve traffic patterns by providing better directions to visitors. We have a really good organization working on this. We're going to make it, make sure that the theme and the marketing looks really good. It pops. And that's really exciting. It's going to be very important to downtown because, people, when they come downtown, sometimes we know parking is at a premium. We are working on trying to get more parking, but this is going to do a lot to make everything more efficient and streamline all of our traffic patterns. We also have new water and sewer system going into Bills Avenue. There's a big development. I've seen the plans. They look really good. That's going to be very important to our city. We have some Parktown and Fort Bayou projects, some drainage projects, as well as, let's see, did I say Fort Bayou? Yeah, Fort Bayou and Parktown. We have a couple projects that are in the hands of the Corps right now. Folks, a lot of times when you have these big projects that have environmental concerns, we have to punt it to the Corps to get permission and make sure that our designs are good. And so they're looking at some designs right now and should get back to us very soon. But we're very excited about all of that. What else? We have Stillman Lane. I've talked about this. That's coming. That is a project that will. Stillman Lane is behind Woody's. It's behind Walgreens over there, kind of around Rouse's and around the hospital area. Stillman Lane, we're expanding that. It's actually going to cut through to that road over by Bienville Dental Center, I believe it's called. the old Blockbuster for those of us who are old enough to remember that. That's going to be very important. It's going to make all of those properties around there much more valuable. It's going to spur development and just grow our tax base in general in Ocean Springs. We have, again, I mentioned the downtown travel, the Wayfinding Study, but also we have another kind of parallel study that's happening with that. That's going to, one is affecting just downtown and one is throughout the entire city. So we're doing what we can to make sure that our traffic patterns and our streets are safe. Also, what's going on with that is we're working on putting together a map of all the city streets and the speed limits on every city street. I'm going to sit down with every alderman and we're going to go through and look at, okay, do we need to lower some streets, some speed limits on some streets? Just kind of go through and do a full audit of the entire city and see if we need to make any changes on that front. Obviously, it'll be geared mostly towards speed limits, but any kind of traffic and safety concerns will be taken into consideration. So if there's something specific that you see in your neighborhood or around your neighborhood, just get with your alderman and make sure that he's aware of what's going on. And so that way, whenever we have our meetings, we can be sure to address those concerns. Also, as I mentioned, actually before I get into some budgetary stuff, I want to remind everybody on August 4th, we're having an election for Mississippi Power franchise fees. Kind of big, broad, big look over it. I won't go into too many details, but basically what this is the power company will, to do service inside the city, they pay a franchise fee. On August 4th, we're going to go to the polls to make sure that, to elect and make sure that, hopefully we will, that the funds stay here in Ocean Springs, because if we vote this down, the funds are just going to go elsewhere, possibly to the state. So we need to make sure that this is a big part of the city's budget. So we're going to have some more stuff on that. August 4th is the election. It will be for Mississippi Power franchise fees. So please vote yes on that. Again, we'll have some more announcements on that very soon, but I just want everybody to keep a lookout for that. August 4th will be that election. All right, on to some budgetary stuff. We're in the middle of budget right now, so we're having a lot of meetings on really everything. We're sitting down with the different departments discussing how their budget's going, what they need, some new resources. We're looking at maybe some a couple new employees here and there. But what's come with that is we're getting a real clear picture of our budget. And folks, we have done a lot to really save a lot of money. We've done a lot to cut costs. And frankly, I'm very proud of where we're at. Our city is better prepared to handle storms like COVID and other things that thrown at us more than we have been in roughly 20 years. We just added $100,000 to our rainy day fund. Over the last 2 years, we've earned over $160,000 in interest. We paid cash for 5 trucks in Public Works at $130,000. We paid cash for a boom truck for $130,000. We paid for a street sweeper for over $142,000. Our new website we have was right at $22,000. The new website, I know I've talked about that. That is very important. We need to get into 2020. Whenever I got into office, the website did not have the security measures that it needed. The entire city did not have the cybersecurity that it needed. Frankly, it was hard for some of the companies, these tech companies, to get city leadership to understand exactly how important cybersecurity is. So it's important that we have, a good understanding about new trends and the way technology is going. And so that's one thing that we prioritize inside the city. And so we are much better equipped to handle any type of security brinks or compromises. Now, your data, everybody's data, the city's infrastructure, all of our technology is in much better hands right now than it has been, frankly, ever. So that's something that is very important to us, and the new website definitely plays a hand in that. It provides new resources and new programs to pay online in a more secure fashion. So check out the city website. We're very excited about it. Still pretty new, so if you find something that is kind of weird or we need to fix, go ahead and email me or just call my office and we'll check it out. Also, the water and sewer, we're taking in about $400,000 more. When I came into office, the water meters there was a lot of them that were out. I didn't understand why, but we started to prioritize that, and now our water and sewer account is very, very healthy. We are making sure that we prioritize that, and that everybody is paying what they need to be paying. Also, we introduced a salary scale, which is going good. It was a tool primarily aimed at keeping employees, because before there wasn't any set way of a raise or any type of cost of living raise, anything like that. So with the salary scale, employees know, okay, if I stay with the city X amount of years, I'm going to make this amount. Now, frankly, I wish we could pay everybody much more. We could get into the details. I wish we could, and I know it sounds hyperbolic, but I want to pay all of our department heads, all of our workers much more than we are now. But just like everybody else, we are limited by the resources and the budgets that we have. So that's kind of it as far as my notes. I could talk all day about a lot of different stuff. We have, there's some outside funds that we're applying for from the state, some really, really cool projects that I think a lot of people are going to really, really like, stuff that kind of enhances the coastal aspects of the city. And so I don't really want to talk too much about that because it's a little too early, but just know that there's some really, really cool projects coming down the pipeline that really go a long way into promoting the coastal aspects of Ocean Springs. And so with that, as I mentioned at the beginning, Ocean Springs, we're getting a new fire training facility. And what this will do is allow the firefighters to really to train to, well, the fire chief can explain it better, but it will hopefully decrease your fire insurance. It'll make sure that our firefighters are equipped and can handle anything that's thrown at them. Our police will actually be able to use it for training. And folks, I think we're going to be the envy of the coast, because the fire chief can talk a little bit more about it, but I don't think anybody else has it around here that I know of, at least in Jackson County. Correct, Chief? Correct. All right, so I want to introduce Fire Chief Derick Mccoy. He's going to tell you a little bit about the fire training facility.
Hey, good morning. So as the mayor said, the mayor and board of aldermen made a commitment to find in our budget to construct this fire training center for us and for our fire department. And while we have a great fire department, this would make us much stronger. But the main thing that it does is the fire service in Mississippi falls under the insurance department. With that being said, we are rated by the State Rating Bureau, and currently Ocean Springs is rated at a Class 5. This training center will allow us the ability to get closer to a Class 4, and that's our goal. And like I said, the mayor and the board of aldermen has committed to it, and they see the benefit of dropping our rating to the Class 4. What that does is it will save possibly millions of dollars for insurance premiums, with the bulk of them savings going to the commercial side as opposed to previously going to the residential side. But everyone will benefit from it, and that directly correlates to economic development and things of that nature. So the training center, we will construct it on property right behind our fire station. And for the cost, it's overall in the grand scheme of things, the cost is very minimum for the possible millions of dollars in savings that the general population and commercial and residential districts will see. With that being said, I'll turn it back over to the mayor. Y'all have a good day.
All right, appreciate it, Chief McCoy. So that's something, again, that's is amongst our highest priorities. We are going to make sure that we get that, we fund that one way or the other. That is going to be huge for, as Chief said, for economic development, for the safety of all of our residents, and it'll help a little bit in our pocketbook. So it's going to be a win all the way around. With that, I could talk a little bit more about some projects, but I want to make sure that we have some time to take some questions. Cynthia, do we have any questions over there?
Yes, we have a few questions.
Okay.
One of the questions is that with the pandemic going on around, I'm sure it's nothing you've ever expected in your term. You have given a lot of good information throughout, but how has it changed your office in any way, the way the city operates?
The office, so right now, currently we have, in order to come into municipal buildings, you do have to wear a mask. Depending on the particular building, so, obviously there's different activities and such going on in different buildings, but that's the general rule. As far as in City Hall, in order to get into City Hall, you do have to wear a mask. I have my door locked right now, so if you need to see me, you can either knock if I'm there or my assistant's there, or we have an intern working, some in the office, we'll come out and address you. Now we do have, I have been, actually whenever the COVID just was started and everything was on firm lockdown, when nobody was allowed in, it was, we were able to kind of get a lot of things done without having to have the public in. And I don't mean to sound that in a bad way, but there was a lot of kind of when you're constantly meeting with people, there's, a lot of the work that kind of gets pushed back. So frankly, we were able to get a lot of stuff done. And that is one of those kind of silver linings sometimes. You hate to find a silver lining, but as far as just basic everyday stuff, it's been very interesting. We've had to, really stay on top and be able to act very fluidly and on the moment. There's constantly new information coming out, constantly new statistics and things to consider. So we've really had to kind of change from working like that, like I said, that normal 9 to 5, coming in the morning and leaving, in the afternoon, and really kind of working around the clock. And we've always kind of worked around the clock as elected officials and as city employees. You're always on call, basically on call. But I think with COVID, it really kind of pushed and say, okay, things are happening so fast that we really have to make sure to be flexible and be fluid with things. So it's been interesting. It's definitely been very stressful, because you have nobody. This is unprecedented. There's extremes on both sides, and per usual, the truth and what you really need to do is somewhere in the middle. And so it's finding that middle ground. It's being able to say, okay, well, we don't want to go too far this way. We don't want to go too far this way. We understand everybody's perspective. We need to find a good consensus on everything. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I mean, I don't know if that answered your questions exactly, but I could talk for hours and hours about my experiences with COVID.
Here's another one. Is your community working with other mayors on the coast?
Yes. So whenever this first started, myself and the other mayors around the coast, we've been having meetings twice a week. Actually, now it's gone down to about once a week. But we have been, and we've been doing it through Go Meeting or Zoom, and just sharing best practices, sharing, hey, we're doing this over here. Have y'all considered this? Or, what are you doing with your sports complex? Or how are you handling concessions? Or what are you doing about the after-school program? So it's been really good and very beneficial to everybody to have these meetings. And so I want to thank all of the, my fellow mayors and everybody along the coast, the city councils and the city managers and stuff for really doing a good job at, at recognizing this is a one coast. This is a global issue, but by acting as a one coast, I feel that we can really get the most out of all of our resources and do our best for everybody and do the best for our entire Gulf Coast community. So I've been very, very impressed with the work that myself and all the mayors have done. Okay,
another question. What are the rules for the beach? Do you have to wear a mask? Can people go on the beach?
People can go on the beach. So if you are out on the beach, if you're around others, you should wear a mask. Now that the gatherings are limited to 20, and so being outside is good. And so we've seen that a lot of times whenever people are stuck inside with the air conditioner, that type of environment does make it worse almost, or not necessarily make it worse, but doesn't help, I should say, with the transmission. So being outside and going to the beach is a good thing, and we definitely recommend it.
Festivals. Of course, this question was going to come up. Outdoor festivals, what's the plan for this year?
So outdoor festivals, we are cautiously optimistic moving forward. The Spring Arts Festival did get canceled, but the rest of them, Cruising the Coast and Peter Anderson, we are moving forward as of now. Now, I can't promise that will stay, that we are going to have it for sure, because it seems like every time I get optimistic about something, plans change. But we are cautiously optimistic. We are planning. Cynthia and the chamber are doing excellent at taking the current restrictions and the current situation and applying it out, and also for planning for changes. So, okay, if this happens, let's do this. If that happens, let's do this. And so, trust me, if there's any way, shape, or form for us to have these festivals, for us to have Cruising the Coast, to have Peter Anderson, we will have it. Obviously, with the proper safety protocols and concerns, but that is our goal, and let's just cross our fingers and pray that we are able to have them.
And these festivals also affect the economy of our small businesses, so thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Another question is, somebody wanted to know about what the policy was for posting banners and signs on public property.
So as far as posting banners and signs, you're not supposed to. You need to come to the building department to, talk to us about, the sign and the particulars. But just you can't go out and just post signs and banners on public property.
Okay, another question is, someone wants you to elaborate on East Beach, I guess the plans, are y'all doing anything on East Beach over there? So
it's going to be kind of an extended shoulder, and really so Compton Engineering has the plans. We're working, so this is something that actually got designed years ago. Compton Engineering designed it. Now we're having to go through and look at the design a little bit more. So hopefully we'll have that back very soon, and I could put out something for everybody to see. But the East Beach sidewalk is just going to be really an extended shoulder, and it's going to be on the beach side and just allow, like I said, more wiggle room for everybody. Right now, as I said, when you go down East Beach, you're having to dodge pedestrians, you're having to dodge, bike riders and walkers, and it's just going to make the whole area much more safer. And I believe, let's see, it's going to go from, where did I say it was going to go from? Let's see. Just a second. It will go from Halstead to Holcomb on East Beach Road. So that's going to be very important. It's going to be, it's going to add very much so to the East Beach.
Okay, we got a few more questions for you. Another one is, we need more color in downtown. What's the beautification efforts that's going on or going to be happening?
I like this question because we have a lot of really good stuff going on. We are working on doing some rebranding inside the city of Ocean Springs. This is almost hot off the press, but we have a new parks director coming in, and we're going to be not only working on some new beautification efforts and bringing in some new resources, but we're really going to kind of overhaul the way that the city handles and promotes the arts. I'm not going to go into many details at this moment, but just know that we're looking at making a hire to help kind of act as someone who takes all of these artistic organizations, whether it be the Walter Anderson Museum, Papos, even outside organization. We want to work with the George Orr Museum. We want to work with a lot of different organizations, and this person will basically be the center and help kind of organize and help promote all of the arts in Ocean Springs. So what we're going to do is, we've seen a lot of the landscaping and just buying pretty flowers all the time really kind of strains the city resources a lot of times whenever we have to go out with maintenance. Now, not to say we don't like to do it and we're not going to keep doing it. However, what we're looking at is replacing some of the landscaping with public art. And so that will not only take some of the maintenance resources the maintenance impact from the city off, but it will really be on brand and help establish our city even more as the artistic hub of the Gulf Coast. And so I'm very excited about those plans. We're going to be talking a little bit more about it in the coming weeks, in the coming months, but just be prepared. There's something really good coming in that front as far as beautification and the arts. So I'm very excited about it. Stay tuned.
And I know the city and the chamber have also been working with some of the merchants in downtown to get, block by block some of that.
That's right. Yeah,
back.
the chamber and some of the businesses downtown have really been, taking this bull by the horns and working. And so I want to thank everybody for, really owning our city. And that's, that's I've said it a million times. What makes a city community go from good to great is the people and the volunteers who get out and really own their community. So I couldn't be happier with our efforts and the direction we're moving in.
Okay, I'm going to try to stick with just a couple more questions. Do you see the city sports coming back?
City what?
City sports.
City
Park and
sports.
Recs. Yeah.
Obviously with COVID, it's kind of hard to know for sure exactly what's going to happen, how's that going to look like as far as athletics is concerned. So we're doing as much as we can right now. Obviously, there's a lot of restrictions, but we're taking, we're just as we are with the festival, as we're cautiously moving forward and doing some planning. I think football is probably going to be hit the hardest from what I understand. Tackle football, a lot of people are getting out of tackle football and going back to flag, but that's a little bit more of specific details. But yes, we are optimistic that sports will come back in even bigger capacity that it is now. So just keep in touch, keep your eye on the city, and we'll be making some announcements.
Can you tell any new updates on the old Swingster property?
The old Swingster property. So the Swingster property there's a really, really nice development planning on that will be at the Swingster property. The Swingster property, for those of you who don't know, is 1515 Government Street. Right there, kind of, it's across the street, kind of catty corner from Mary C. It's right next to Val's Bar and Grill. And there's a really good development plan. We had put in an application for BP funds from the Restore Act to build a parking garage. The legislature did not fund all of the full amount of the parking garage. We did get a lot, a significant amount, so we want to thank them for that. But we're going to have to go back and see exactly, okay, do we need to change the design of the parking garage? What exactly we're going to do? So the parking garage aspect of it is right now kind of up in the air. But as far as the full development, it's going to be mixed use. Again, I don't want to go into too many details before they really break ground, but I've seen the plans, and it's going to be amongst the nicest properties in the entire city. And I really wish I could talk more about it because I'm very, very excited about it. But just know that it's coming. And really, what this is going to do is help. So we want to expand. We're working to expand downtown. So Porter Avenue, we have a lot of really good plans going on Porter Avenue, all the way from basically the Yacht Club to Washington. And so right now, and everybody knows that, when you think of downtown, where do you think? You think Washington and Government. And, it extends more, but we really want to extend that even more. So we're working on expanding and doing a lot of really cool public art and a lot of cool, really stuff down at the Creative District. Down Porter, but then also we're going to move down Government. And this property at 1515 Government, at the old Swingster property, is going to be a huge part of that and expanding that whole reach and the whole footprint of downtown. So again, I wish I could go into more details. I'm really excited about this property and this development, but just stay tuned. It's going to be really, really nice.
Okay, I'm going to try to just do two more questions. There are a few more questions out there, but you may have covered some of this one, but someone wanted to know that how the next budget will work, meaning will it be affected by the current virus, by, putting the plans together, the funding? Yeah, so everybody's budget will be affected by COVID. Frankly, that's unavoidable. And there's a train going by, so let me... hopefully that's not too loud for everybody. So yes, everybody's budget will be affected by COVID. Now, that really just depends on how much of your budget was, how much of your tax base was impacted. So other communities that are more reliant on certain industries are going to have different impacts than other cities. So
Here in Ocean Springs, frankly, like I mentioned earlier about a lot of the cost-saving measures that we've introduced, a lot of the just really good economic policies that we put in place to save money, to get more interest, to plug up holes where we are bleeding, and really with the cybersecurity aspect, we have been able to weather this COVID storm, pretty good. Obviously we're going to have a hit, and a lot of the things we're looking at in our budget is to tighten our belts a little bit, but we're very optimistic about our budget. I feel like we do have some shortfalls in sales taxes, that is for sure. But again, I don't think it's not going to be quite as drastic as we feared here in Ocean Springs. And we're going to have to tighten our belt, but you're not going to see any layoffs. You're not going to see drastic pulling back of city services. There might be a project or two that we might have to punt on or wait another year or dial back a little bit. But overall, we're going to be good, and we're going to keep moving forward. And our budget is going to be minimally affected. I'll say it like that, minimally affected. And again, different cities and different communities have different concerns. We don't have any casinos in Ocean Springs. We have a lot of small businesses, so our impact may be different than what's going on in Harrison County. So you have to look at every community case by case.
Okay, can you give them an update on Ocean Springs Road?
Ocean Springs Road. So we have which part of Ocean Springs Road? I guess the north part.
It said an update on Ocean Springs
Okay,
Road. Sorry.
Update on Ocean Springs Road. So we actually have kind of multiple things going on with Ocean Springs Road. We're working on widening, putting in basically a turning lane on. I mean, we're still working on the design, but we're looking at putting a turning lane into the northern part of Ocean Springs Road from the highway north all the way to 57. Now, half of that road is county, half of it is city, so we're working with the county on all of this. We're working with different organizations, but that's going to be the gist of it. We're putting expanding Ocean Springs Road. We're putting in a small turning lane. Also, we're looking at a roundabout right at Groveland and Ocean Springs Road. That area can be very dangerous, and that's going to be part of the broader project. I don't have an exact timeline on it now unless I missed it on my sheet. Let me double check. Ocean Springs Road. So enhancements along Ocean Springs Road from Highway 90 to Culioca to address sidewalks, turning lane. It's approved for fiscal year 21 funding. And it's going to be right. The approved funding is $2.3 million. So it's an expensive project, folks, but that's coming. I just don't. It's with some of these projects, it just takes a while. But I'll let everybody know, when it gets closer to time, and we'll have like a groundbreaking ceremony and ribbon cutting and all of that. Also, as far as South Ocean Springs Road goes, we're actually going to look at renaming the southern portion of Ocean Springs Road from Government to Highway 90. That is just with the addition of Stillman Lane and the growth of that area, it's no longer Ocean Springs Road, in my opinion. So we will rename that road, and we're looking at doing some improvements on it as well. I don't really have too many details with that. That's in the study phase right now, but that will be affected as well.
Okay, this is the last question I'm going to ask, and then after there are more questions related to the virus, related to art and things like that. So if you're in with letting people know how they can still get the answers to those kind of questions. Okay. This question is, can you give an update on the Fort Bayou Bridge closure for repairs?
So the Fort Bayou Bridge, which is the bridge on Washington on 609. MDOT is scheduled to close that bridge for some weeks. I'm working with them right now to hopefully get it closed at the least impactful time. Now I say least impactful time because this will affect us, regardless of when it is, but I want to work with them to hopefully make sure that it has the least amount of impact to our businesses. I think that we're looking at a few weeks at closing it. I don't know for sure, and basically it's just for repairs. This you just got to do it sometimes. Bridges have to get repaired. This is a safety thing. I know it's going to be inconvenient, but you have to do it. The MDOT has to go in there and make those repairs. So right now it's looking at it might be later this year. But like I said, nothing is for certain. Obviously with COVID, everything's up in the air, but I'm working with them I'm in communications with them to hopefully make it the least impact to our community as possible.
Okay, so now there are more questions about art, about the coronavirus.
I'm sure there's a lot of So you can always call my office. You can message me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. You can email me. My email is sdobson@oceansprings-ms.gov. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter at Shea Dobson, SHEADOBSON. You can find me on Facebook at Mayor Shea Dobson. I try to be as accessible as I can. Just call my office, tweet me, email me, and I can answer all of your questions. My assistant has, all of the access to all the information regarding COVID and such. And if I'm not available, someone can get to you. So thank everybody for tuning in. Again, we normally will do this at a restaurant or a business or something, and just so we can see everybody's smiling faces, and it's just a lot more personal. But right now we're doing it virtually, and I want to thank the Chamber for really putting this on and providing this platform for me to address everybody. So with that, have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe, and remember your mask.